imagine if I had kids with Paris Hilton, how many hotels I have now? You get what I'm saying? Think about that. Think about that. The Hilton. You know, the Hilton. Because I think I'm staying in the Hilton right now.
I'll never forget Kanye, not to just be on dissing Kanye, but I remember he came in to visit me and Dr. Dre, and we're in the studio in the middle of making beats, and we were like kind of interrupted, but we were like, all right, cool, whatever. And he's like, I need to take a picture with you guys. So we took a picture with him. It was cool. He left the building, went to, like, drove somewhere, came back and said, my outfit wasn't right. Let me take another picture. And said, like, and it's like, me and Dre looked together like. He stormed out of the studio one time later, I was told, I wasn't there, with Dre, and he called him the devil. He's like, you're the devil, and he ran out like.
Kanye called Dre the devil?
Yeah.
What prompted that?
I don't know. Making devil music for me or something. I guess he was on his holy kick at that point.
Kanye West has stirred up the internet once again after dropping a shocking hint about his ex-wife Kim Kardashian and her former best friend Paris Hilton. He didn't hold back, implying that the two may have been involved in something far more private than people ever suspected. The most surprising part is that rumors are now spreading about a secret video allegedly recorded inside a famous celebrity mansion. Social media has gone into a frenzy. Some believe Kanye is bringing up old Hollywood gossip, while others think he's finally revealing the truth. This isn't the first time speculation surrounding Kim and Paris has surfaced. However, things became even more intense when producer Scott Storch decided to share his perspective. He wasn't simply seeking attention. He spoke about the early 2000s party scene, describing how major celebrities were involved in wild activities behind closed doors. What made people pay attention was that parts of his story seemed to closely match Kanye's claims. Scott said that during that period, he was living on Indian Creek Island, an extremely private location reserved for the wealthy and powerful. Around that time, Paris Hilton entered his life. Initially, her focus was music, but their relationship quickly became more serious. Through Paris, Scott was introduced to a completely different world filled with fame, luxury, and temptation unlike anything he had experienced before. It felt like entering another reality, and that experience changed his life forever.
And I sold it like a couple years later to move closer to disaster, which was, I was safe in Bal Harbor, like, and then I moved to Palm Island, and that's where all of happened. So yeah, Paris came to work with me. We ended up dating and had a relationship. And
Scott explained that Paris introduced him to an entirely different lifestyle, filled with flashing cameras, extravagant parties, and constant attention from paparazzi. Overnight, he went from being known mainly as a music producer to appearing in magazines like US Weekly, being followed by TMZ, and experiencing the pressures of celebrity culture firsthand. Paris didn't simply give him a glimpse of fame, she immersed him in it. Before that chapter of his life, Scott was more reserved and dedicated to his work, spending most of his time in the studio and staying out of the spotlight. Although he already had success, wealth, and luxury cars, he never felt completely comfortable with public attention. He later admitted that the glamorous celebrity scene often made him feel uneasy, as if he didn't truly fit into that world.
She introduced me to like paparazzi's nightlife, being like the man, Us Weekly, fucking, TMZ, like this whole party life and wild like that I never experienced before because I was like in the studio night and day. I was rich, I had every car you can imagine, but they only went from the house to the studio and back. Like friends would come over and like they would go to the club and then they would come back after, and I would ask them how it was. I think I was like nervous to even be cool at that point. And then,
according to Scott, everything shifted almost instantly once Paris became part of his life. He described that period as the moment things began to unravel, admitting he was pulled into a chaotic lifestyle and went through a phase where he no longer felt like himself. The glamour, constant attention, and fast-paced Hollywood environment drew him in before he realized it. Before long, he found himself surrounded by individuals who carried an air of superiority, acting as though they were above everyone else. While he chose not to mention any names out of respect, his message was easy to understand. Scott explained that being part of those social circles slowly changed who he was. The experience pulled him away from the grounded and creative person he once was, leaving him focused on approval, status, and attention rather than the music and inner peace that had always mattered most to him.
Like, I got so caught up in that, and it changed who I was. Like, I was hanging out with, like, people that are just not good. Like, people that think they're better than others. Like, I don't want to call out names, whatever, it's too insulting, but just like Hollywood douchebags. And like, you know, you are what you hang out with. And it changed me from being this like innocent, like soulful, like, you know, organic person to like this quest for fame and this quest to like I wasn't even like really that sprung on Paris.
Then Kim Kardashian entered the picture. At the time, she was still relatively unknown and was working closely with Paris Hilton while trying to establish herself in the entertainment world. But Scott revealed a surprising detail that caught many people off guard. He shared that Kim had actually stayed in his guest room during that period. That single revelation immediately drew attention because it placed her directly within the circle of the fast-paced celebrity lifestyle of the early 2000s. Many were surprised to learn that Kim was living under the same roof, while so much of that high-profile social scene was unfolding around them.
Story that came out, a video that was shown saying, back in the days when Kim K was Paris Hilton's assistant.
Yeah.
Was it true? Was Kim K Paris's assistant?
Yeah, she used to sleep in my guest room.
That revelation alone was enough to get people talking. However, what caught even more attention was what Scott mentioned afterward. He suggested that something eventually changed between them, although he stopped short of sharing specific details. According to Scott, whatever happened led to Kim moving from the guest room into the master bedroom. He remained deliberately vague about the situation, but many felt the change itself raised plenty of questions. Fans quickly began speculating and drawing their own conclusions. While Scott avoided explaining exactly what took place, the sudden shift seemed significant enough to spark curiosity. In many ways, the lack of details only made the story even more intriguing.
And then some weird happened. I'm not gonna say what happened, but and then she made it to the master bedroom.
Eventually, Paris became aware of the situation, but by then her relationship with Scott was already coming to an end. Their connection had largely run its course, creating space for Kim to become a bigger part of his life. Scott described that period as a time when both of them were struggling emotionally. He said they were dealing with their own personal issues, feeling lost, discouraged, and searching for an escape from the challenges surrounding them. As they spent more time together, they found comfort in sharing their experiences and frustrations. What began as two people supporting each other through difficult circumstances gradually developed into a much stronger bond. Neither of them expected the relationship to evolve the way it did, but amid all the confusion and uncertainty, their connection grew into something far more meaningful.
Paris found out, or?
No, it was just like she and I were done, and like I think we were both like had it, and we were like commiserating. What did he say? Karen's she's commiserating at the house from Goodfellas.
Despite everything, Scott spoke positively about Kim's drive and determination. He described her as genuine, highly motivated, and focused on building a successful name for herself. She wasn't someone who expected opportunities to come easily. She paid close attention to how the industry operated and approached her career strategically. According to Scott, Kim was committed to transforming her network and opportunities into a powerful personal brand. He noted that she carefully observed the path Paris had taken and applied many of the same strategies, particularly when it came to gaining international recognition. In his view, there was a formula for achieving that level of fame at the time, and Kim understood how to use it exceptionally
Cool.
well.
Kim was awesome.
Yeah, like
what was awesome about her?
She was organic, and she was just like, you know, eager to like. She wanted to like build her career up. She kind of followed Paris's blueprint with the foreign tag after or whatever, but at that time she was just a cool kid.
Then Scott mentioned the Bugatti, and the story took another unexpected turn. He recalled arriving at the Washington Avenue mansion in the luxury car with Kim sitting beside him in the passenger seat. At the time, it seemed like just another moment in the fast-paced celebrity lifestyle. What stood out to Scott was that everyone's attention was focused on him and the car, while hardly anyone noticed who was sitting next to him. Looking back, he found it remarkable because that passenger was Kim Kardashian. According to Scott, she wasn't the globally recognized figure she would later become, and most people around them didn't even realize who she was at the time.
I got video, dog. A picture. Yeah, that's Scott Storch, yo.
Who the hell is Scott Storch?
Yo, he's a dude that make all the beats and yo.
Oh, look at his girl. Look at his girl, man.
That's Scott Storch, dog.
Man, look at his girl, homie. Get in the car.
Scott Storch.
Following close behind was Scott's second vehicle, a Mercedes-Benz G63, driven by someone he casually referred to as one of his trusted associates. However, Scott revealed that this individual played a much larger role than simply driving. He admitted that the person often handled and carried the substances he was using during that period of his life. The confession highlighted just how deeply he had become immersed in a fast-paced and self-destructive lifestyle, surrounded by habits and influences that reflected the chaos of that era.
That's my car too behind him. That was my driver that used to carry all my for me.
Mercedes Maybach, I think.
That was 62.
Scott didn't bring up that story to impress anyone. Instead, he shared it as an honest reflection of how extreme that lifestyle had become. His account revealed how quickly things could spiral, with fame, excess, and personal struggles becoming increasingly difficult to separate. From his perspective, it wasn't a glamorous experience. It was a period marked by confusion and chaos. That is where Kanye's comments added another layer to the discussion. He claimed that long before marrying Kim, he was already aware of the rumors and controversies surrounding her past. According to Kanye, he had heard stories about various recordings and situations that had circulated behind the scenes over the years. He suggested that some of those issues continue to follow them even today, and that efforts have been made to prevent private material from resurfacing publicly.